Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the lights every single damn time and subscribe if you are new. It's been a couple of days. I've been away, but now we are here for the truth because this ownership news has got to come to some sort of conclusion, and we've been simmering in the background, watching and waiting for updates and looking at briefings and digging into the dust. And now it's time. Now it's truly time to just lay it all out and be done with it. All You Can Eat Chelsea will be tomorrow as well. The panel are back and we will be discussing. But my solo kind of update on this situation from my video a few days ago. And we're kind of just putting everything together and now making it make sense, because we've got two juggernauts, two massively powerful, rich, wealthy individuals that have got their own way of doing things, that are in the top 0.0001% of people on the planet, and they have got to the position they're in by doing things with their way, their vision, and they are incredibly successful. So it doesn't make sense that they would bend. It doesn't make sense that they would collaborate, which is funny because it's exactly what they wanted Thomas Tuchel to do at the very beginning, which is open lines of communication. And it seems like, accordingly, reportedly, the open line of communication is closed. So, you know, how ironic is this that the two people preaching it have now been able to kind of put it on pause? But listen, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise you, I don't think, because there were clear differences. And first of all, I got to put this first window to bed with Todd Boehly, because right now it's counting against him for a lot of people. And the reason why I actually commend him and would give him credit for that first window is because it takes some balls, it takes some gall to come into a new sport in the same summer that the ownership has taken place, and to run things, you know, even though you are not an expert, to learn on the job under immense pressure and try and build those relationships with those agents and sporting directors that are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps ahead of you in that field. And he needed a sporting director just as much as Thomas Tuchel did in Todd Boehly. But he fronted, he took on the responsibility, he didn't shy away from it, he came out publicly and spoke, he was transparent. And even as a minority stakeholder or shareholder, as someone that doesn't have the power quite clearly to, you know, imprint and put his, you know, stamp on this football club in the manner that he sees fit and wants to, because it's Clearlake Capital that have that 60% ownership, for him to take on that responsibility and to be the face of it and to take the brunt and to take the blame, I think that's quite a credit. I think that's a credit to him. In my opinion, I wouldn't put it against him, and I wouldn't judge him off it. I wouldn't judge Roman Abramovich from not having a Peter Kenyon. I wouldn't judge, you know, a Kroenke currently without having an Edu, you know, an FSG without having a, you know, Edwards. You need your sporting director by your side, and they are the ones that are there to make those decisions. And Chelsea, unfortunately, couldn't get those staff in through the door as quickly as they needed to in that first window. So there were going to be mistakes, and there has been mistakes. But rightly said by you in the comments, just because he moved that way in that summer does not mean that's how he was going to move going forward. And it was coming out in reports that Chelsea and Todd Boehly were looking to go in a more youthful, you know, data-driven model as opposed to what they did in that first window. But we have to look at the potential differences. But just because he was going to go down that route, it does not mean that he would necessarily have spent $1 billion plus on that particular route in that time frame. And the cultural difference that maybe he wanted to operate in, which has been alluded to by The Athletic in regards to how Chelsea have maybe treated our players in the previous windows and how we banished them or led them, you know, astray and not giving them notice on our plans. Sterling, people have brought up. That's maybe something that Todd Boehly disagrees with, and that's more Eghbali's ruthless nature coming through. You know, it's reported that he was also very clear on wanting Pochettino to go, whereas maybe Todd Boehly was, you know, more open to keeping him. And then you're seeing more the ruthless nature of Eghbali coming through again, more of maybe a Roman nature where, don't get me wrong, this is not the first time we've had players banished from the squad under Clearlake Capital. We've had that in the Roman era as well. The difference is the trophies and the success came along with it, so people couldn't scrutinize it. Now, when you aren't winning, when you aren't performing to the higher echelons of the sport, then you are going to get judged and criticized for every action and decision you make, and rightly so, because if it isn't working, then you must change it. But it seems like Todd Boehly maybe is the nicer, softer, more friendly, cuddly guy in regards to him wearing the Chelsea bags from the megastore and the Chelsea caps from the megastore and trying to really engross himself into the fan base and really trying to, you know, fly the flag almost. And it's not a shock because he is a sporting man. Why did we bring him in? Why did we want him here in the first place? If you did want him, it's because he had that Dodgers history, that history of sport, that history of understanding how to, you know, build a team and put them on the highest level. Even though it wasn't in football, it was his sporting expertise and his sporting business mind that we were kind of wanting to recruit. And the Clearlake capital was literally what I said in the previous video, capital. It's all about capital. We wanted their money. But a consortium is always bound to go down this way because unfortunately people disagree. Now, what would have been the perfect harmony? Maybe a Todd Boehly majority at 60% and a Clearlake capital investment at 40%, just kind of pumping money into the club, silent investors, which is what we have with Walter and Wiss. As silent investors, they don't really seem to play a massive part in this back and forth right now, and rightly so. Because we need silent investments. You actually need silent investments. In any big corporation and company, you need silent investors, people that are just going to put up and shut up and will put their money in and then therefore expect money to come out in 10 years time and, you know, a profit to be made on their investment. But it allows the people who emotionally are attached, like potentially a Todd Boehly, to get on with whatever they feel needs to be done to actually make said money and to elevate the club to a certain status. But it seems like we've got two cooks in the kitchen, and we do. And also the lack of progress over the stadium, which I don't blame anybody for. I don't blame Clearlake Capital for that. It's something that we suffered with Roman, something that we, you know, could never get done up until this point. It's the most difficult stadium, I think, in the country to expand and to, you know, to build upon. We have height restrictions, we have ground restrictions, we have probably underground restrictions as well. We have every type of restriction you could possibly ask for in the position that we're in. And I think they may have maybe underestimated the task and how difficult the task is to improve and build our stadium and expand it. But now they are understanding, humbler, crumbler, that, yeah, Roman probably did want to expand the stadium. We did have planning permission a few times, but unfortunately, it ain't easy. And probably a lot more difficult than they thought when they were bidding for the club. But Chelsea are adamant they will not sell shares. Well, Clearlake, sorry, are adamant, and that's not a surprise. They are 60%. Unless Todd Boehly is going to come with an offer that is going to blow them out the water, that is going to be massively inflated on what the football club is worth, Clearlake Capital are not going to sell their stocks a couple of years in to a minimum 10-year deal where they've obviously got a plan and they've got a method of doing things, and they're not going to just walk away now just because things have got a little bit, you know, hairy in the back end with the back and forth between the two. So it's really two options for Todd Boehly. It's put up and shut up and keep your shares and move to the side, or it is sell. Now, what do I predict? What do I think is going to happen? I said it in my previous video, but I do think Clearlake Capital are going to be majority shareholders, continuing to be, you know, the majority owner of the club. And I think Todd Boehly is going to potentially be able to calm it for now, but I think it's going to wear him down. I think he's going to slowly become disillusioned because he doesn't have the control that he requires. And I think eventually he's going to sell his side, and yeah, Clearlake Capital will maybe even become 60 to 80% or whatever it will be. But I think at some point he will probably be on his way out. If it's not soon, it will be in the next year or so, because if you've invested that much money into something and you can't even control or dictate how it operates and how it improves and how it moves, then what really is the point of putting that money in? And that is what I think the conclusion he'll come to very soon. And it's very much exactly the same as Usmanov versus Kroenke. And that's why I keep bringing up that reference, because Usmanov eventually did leave and go to a different football club. But we know the differences. Todd Boehly reportedly wants to be leaving the sporting directors in peace to operate and run the club as see fit. Eghbali wants people to report to him on a day-to-day basis and filter through to the top. And that maybe alludes to the question, when they were running into changing rooms and barking instructions or doing team talks, who actually wanted to do that? Because the media made us believe it was Todd Boehly, the loud American who just wanted to be in everybody's faces all the time because he was the face of the ownership. But maybe it was Eghbali, because it seems like he wants to be involved, right? And now it's Todd saying, actually, I want to take a step back. So maybe it was Eghbali when they were walking across the pitch saying, we're going to go into that changing room, we're going to fuck some shit up. I don't know. But yeah, despite all reports, the sporting directors have been told to pursue with their talent ID methods and to keep looking for more young talent to add to the squad. And that kind of pushes us into the direction of transfers in a way, because I do want to discuss a little bit of Osimhen, Jackson, potentially Gyökeres as well, because I know people are taking a fancy to Gyökeres. Had a great start to the season with Sporting Lisbon. He's been banging in goals for Sweden with Isak, and it would definitely be my preference from a profile standpoint to bring him in. But in regards to Osimhen, Mikel obviously had a lot of words to say in regards to Chelsea maybe going back in for him in January, that this story is not over. I think we also have to come to the conclusion a little bit that Chelsea rate Jackson a lot higher than the average fan. They've just given him a new contract, an improved contract to reward him for what he did last year. I personally feel that was a bit premature, but it tells me that they see him as the leading striker in this club, and everybody they brought in up until the point right now is to facilitate and to supplement him. You know, Gu, Washington, we have Dacho Fofana. They just keep having these strikers come in before and after him, to be fair, but they just pure supplement. And he is the guy that seems to be the leader. He is the one that's going to be in charge. Now, from a mental capacity, I don't think he's ready to be leading for Chelsea in terms of, you know, he's not a leader yet. He's still got immaturity in him, but they're trying to grow him into the leader that they see him to be. So Chelsea, will they put down big money for Gyökeres? Over 25, I doubt, as much as I would like the player. Osimhen, will they go back for in January? I highly doubt. So, yeah, whether you like it or not, you kind of might have to get used to the fact that Jackson may just be the leading man and be highly, highly regarded and respected in Chelsea in regards to the sporting directors who obviously got him from Villarreal. But yeah, we'll see how that materializes. Clearlake Capital are backed by 90 million fund, plus the personal billions of Egbali, which is, yeah, just again alluding to the fact that we're not going to be moving on from them anytime soon. But just to finalize on that stockpiling, and obviously Dacho Fofana, he has his move to Athens collapsing as we speak. It is breaking down, and what his future will be, I do not know. But this is the consequence, unfortunately. There's always going to be some left behind. One of them will be Chilwell too, in the left-back position. The Turkish-Greek windows close very soon in the coming days, and I don't see everybody getting out. So it seems like January is going to have to be a window where we clean up any mess left over from the summer. But yeah, that is unfortunate for him, because I think, listen, again, from a talent perspective, I don't think we've seen even 10% of what Dacho Fofana could be capable of. I think he's got actually quite a well-rounded, nice game to him. I don't even know why he's not second choice behind Jackson and ahead of Gu. So at least give him an opportunity in the Conference League games and give him some couple of Premier League minutes off the bench if needed, if required, especially when he's had that loan at Burnley. I actually don't know why we're trying to move Dacho on so quickly if we haven't brought in a striker. But hey, don't know what the idea is here, but it's a very strange decision from Chelsea, in my opinion, to not even be giving him an opportunity in the first team currently when he is part of that youth model. It's recruitment and crediting the talent that you're finding, but then the development plan and the progression of said players that needs to mirror to actually make the money. And I keep saying it, but hey, whatever floats the boats. I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, listen, that's everything I think at this current moment. Chelsea Football Club, saga that continues, that goes on, never ends. And yeah, for me, that is my truth. That is my conclusion. I think Todd Boehly will be out within the year. I think he'll come to the conclusion that he can't work within this structure, work within these limitations. And I think Clearlake Capital will become the majority shareholder at Chelsea. And it will be a whopping minimum 80% potentially. And Egbali, we're going to have to learn to like him if we don't already. And hopefully whatever tricks he's got up his sleeve actually end up working for Chelsea. Because, like I said, once owners come in, they don't go anywhere. They don't go anywhere. So you guys smash up the likes. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All You Can Eat Chelsea podcast is getting recorded with the boys, and it's going to be good. Got some lovely little overlays coming for you. So yeah, big up your damn selves in a bit, people. Peace.